Good morning. This is BikeTalk. Second Saturday.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
you take that one.
Oh, I'm on this one. All right. Sorry.
We're here.
It's my first time doing the radio, guys.
How you doing? So this is Alexis Lantz, LACBC.
Planning and Policy Director.
Thank you.
And then I've asked Dorothy to come down and join me today, and we're going to be talking about a number of things going on around the county, but also we're going to focus a little bit today on women's cycling and getting more women on bikes.
That's right. So thanks for inviting me over. It's going to be fun. We'll have lots of fun stuff to talk about, right?
Yeah. And we're going to hopefully have some folks checking in from out on the streets to give us a little update about some things that are going on around the county. But yeah, so we've got a lot of folks that are going to be calling in, and I figured maybe we could give a little bit of background on ourselves. And
Sure.
you've done this before, right?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy talking. I think that's actually, I was a very shy child. Can you believe that, Alexis?
No.
I was the quiet Catholic girl, and suddenly I rode a bicycle, and it changed the rest of my life. No, well, actually, that's true part way. So anyway, yeah, my background, in case you don't know, my name again is Dorothy Wong, and I grew up in Hawaii, but I didn't surf.
Oh, where in Hawaii did you grow up?
I grew up on Oahu,
I
the
lived
main
there for 2
island.
years.
You did?
Yeah.
Very good.
I went to St. Andrews Priory.
Oh, you did? I went to Maryknoll.
Okay.
We're rivals. Actually, so yeah, that's kind of funny.
You guys went to school in
We
Hawaii?
both, yeah.
Wow.
And rival Catholic girls. Well, mine was co-ed.
Mine
Yours was girls.
Mine was girls' school. Mine was Episcopal.
Oh, okay.
I'm Catholic, but
Yeah. Small world.
It's amazing. Did you know each other before LA?
no.
No,
Oh.
yeah.
Weird.
It's a small world in a big place. 10 million people in Los Angeles County,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, and then I rode BMX bicycles and the big wheel. Those were my youth bikes. And then I went to college. I hung out at the beach a lot before that, and I went to college, and I didn't have a car, so I bought a bike. So I actually used it for commuting. And then I left my bike at the dorm and willed it off to somebody as I moved on and bought that automobile to get around eventually. And then, long story short, I started working in Hollywood, and that was really fun. That's what I wanted to do. And then somewhere along the line, the bicycle came back into my life. And I actually was an athlete in high school, so racing bicycles became this kind of fun thing that I could do. So one of the cameramen said, "Dorothy, you should buy a mountain bike and get into this sport. It's really fun." So that's pretty much what I did. I bought a bike and raced nonstop for 10 years, and I took up road racing and cyclocross,
Oh, wow.
which now I am the promoter of in Southern California, one of. There's a few of us. And then that one thing led to another, and I wanted to figure out, why are there only 10 women racing bicycles, or 20, or why isn't it growing? This is the greatest thing ever. And so that's kind of been my mission, as I've now surpassed 17 years
Wow.
of being a somewhat competitive cyclist now, and growing festivals, getting more people knowing about this fun bicycle that they can ride for recreation, transportation, and sport.
Awesome. Well, you know, I'm an Army brat, so I lived 2 years in Hawaii, but I moved around all over the place growing up, and so because of that, I had a whole range of cycling and non-cycling experiences. But I think you know, I rode as a kid just for fun growing up, and then when we lived in Berlin when I was a little kid, from the age of, I was there seventh and eighth grade was in Berlin. No, sixth and seventh grade. I'm sorry. And I was able to ride my bicycle to school, the couple of miles it was. There's this great, off-street path network. A lot of the bike lanes in Berlin are actually on the sidewalk. So I was able to ride to school. My parents felt really comfortable with that, and it gave me a lot of freedom as a young person. They also had great public transit there, so that made a big difference too, just in terms of my freedom as a kid, being able to navigate the city and get out and explore my surroundings. And then I moved to Hawaii, and I lived on Fort Shafter Military Base, like the top of a hill. So I wasn't biking all that often, and I got dropped off at the bottom of the hill every day and took the public bus to downtown Honolulu's school. And then we moved to the burbs, where there was like no sidewalks, these like windy roads in Virginia. So I didn't really bike in Virginia because it just didn't seem like I biked around the neighborhood, but I couldn't go anywhere. Like you couldn't, because everything was on a big main road. And it, I lived in DC and New York, and then I came out to LA in 2003, and it wasn't really until I got to LA that I got back on my bike, which I think is kind of funny. People think of LA as the car city, but LA is where I really discovered my bicycle for everyday transportation, and a big part of that was due to just the thriving ride community out here, and the amount of group rides. Midnight Rides was the first ride I did in LA, and I think it was like the Pirate Ride or something like that, and that was my first time really getting on and exploring the city with a big group and seeing just how manageable cycling in LA can be. I think I had a number of friends. My good friend Linda Way, who's one of the mechanics up at Flying Pigeon, were riding. They were getting out all over the place, but it always seemed like, it's going to be so tiring, or everything's so far away. And I got out and I did my Night Riders, and I was like, that wasn't so bad. Like, I could do this all the time. Yeah. And it was great because I actually had a lot of, Linda, a couple other women friends that all were cycling. And so they were really the ones that helped me get out. And it was great to just have a group of friends that we could be like, okay, we're going to go to this art gallery, or we're going to go to this bar. And because of that, that's what really got me on my bike. And then I was able to all right, now I've done it in a big group. I've done it with my girlfriends. Now I feel comfortable enough just riding around. And I've been able to return that favor back to some of my friends and help them get comfortable with cycling in LA and riding with them on their commutes to work so that they can get used to it. And then now they're cycling all over the place. So I think oftentimes it's that just one-on-one with your girlfriend saying come on, let's go. That makes a big difference.
It's almost like we're sort of mothers, getting new ladies out there riding.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, and in the history of women's cycling, I think way back in the 1890s when cycling was really taking off, and there was all the Rational Dress Society and all those things, there was, they called it the Bicycle Chaperone Association. And it was for women of good standing. If you were over the age of 30 and still single, or you were a widow, you could become a chaperone for younger women, so that their families would feel safe about them cycling, so because they wouldn't then talk to young men or,
That's funny.
do anything outrageous. But in some ways, that was a little bit more, probably sexist, but you had to have a chaperone. But in a lot of ways, it was probably good because it got women or families comfortable with sending their daughters out and letting them bicycle and explore their cities. So
that's also like tribal, isn't it? Like the older ones, that like you have the Maasai with their all the boys have their it's like the Cub Scouts.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, even before that, women weren't allowed to walk unless you had a chaperone. So you couldn't do anything without a chaperone back in the day if you were a woman. Because if you were out by yourself, you were considered a harlot. So, I don't know. Wow. So, I mean, the bicycle, just what we're going to talk about later with Sarai is, it really helped the emancipation of women and give us freedom.
Wasn't that a Susan B. Anthony quote?
Exactly. So we may have someone calling in to join us. I'm not sure. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, the bicycle. Oh, great. We'll have her join us.
You want to talk?
So we're going to have Tess Lotta really quick join us and give us an update from WeHo BC. Oh, okay. Hey, Tess, how's it going?
It's going really good. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for joining us this morning. Can you give us a little update on some of the stuff that's going on over in your neck of the woods in West Hollywood?
Yeah. We're on May 17th for Bike Week. We're having 3 pit stops for the morning commute. We're teaming up with the city of West Hollywood to do a pit stop at San Vicente and Santa Monica at Plummer Park, which is Santa Monica and Martel. And then we're also doing one a short distance east from that at Santa Monica and Formosa. So, as you know, there's a bike lane for some of that. But, you know, it's a pretty popular commuting. So make sure you stop by, and it's between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. And then on the 19th, we are asking folks if they want to be bike models. We're getting a little photo shoot together for some print materials we're doing to advocate for bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure in West Hollywood. And we're looking for some folks to show up at Plummer Park at 11 on Saturday, May 19th. And we're just going to take a little casual ride through West Hollywood and do a little photo shoot. So, you know, if you're comfortable being in our print and web materials, show up. So that's it for Bike Week. And then just the stuff we're working on right now with the City of West Hollywood is to, of course, get the San Vicente bike lanes down and on the ground. They've been delayed a little bit, and we're hoping that those start going down either at the end of this month or June, and those are going to go from Santa Monica Boulevard to Beverly. And the word is that there's also going to be bike boxes with those lanes, so that's great.
Oh, that's great.
I know. And we're a little stalled on the bike rack, request a rack program right now. The city council pulled it from their consent calendar this last city council meeting because there was some, but there was some issues and concerns around putting bike racks on the streets that would impede pedestrian mobility, which was very interesting. But it's okay, you know, just make sure everybody feels good about it, and I'm pretty confident it's going to go through, and we'll have a request a rack program in the city of West Hollywood very soon.
Yeah, you know, in West Hollywood, and I think there are a lot of places in LA where we do have a lot of pedestrian traffic, and I think it's one of the reasons why bike corrals can be such a better solution when, you know, you have a busy shopping street like a Santa Monica Boulevard or something like that, where maybe if you just convert one parking space over to a bike corral, that kind of helps provide way more bicycle parking and then doesn't interrupt the opportunities for sidewalk dining and all the wonderful things that folks want to do when they're out enjoying a neighborhood like West Hollywood.
Absolutely. And pedestrian access in West Hollywood is very, very important, especially on Santa Monica Boulevard. There's so many businesses, and we need to make sure that, you know, the pedestrians and cyclists both have plenty of access and safe access to the sidewalk. And bike parking is just, there's no bike parking in the city of West Hollywood outside of commercial properties like larger sort of like pavilions and the Target Center on Santa Monica and La Brea. So I'm hoping that if we can just make sure everyone, you know, the sidewalks are pretty wide on Santa Monica, so, you know, we just want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and knows. But a bike corral is definitely like the next major Mount Kilimanjaro to climb, you know, just trying to get that in. But I think that once everyone realizes that the lanes and the racks are super great, and they're going to make the city that much even better because it's such a great city. West Hollywood is so awesome, and there's a lot of passionate folks in the city of West Hollywood that are super behind bicycling and pedestrian advocacy and you know, and making sure everybody, including motorists, are all getting what they need. So,
yeah,
so that's kind of basically what's going on. So all info can be found at wehobike.org and our Facebook page.
Awesome. Thanks, Tess, for calling in and giving us a little update. And Dorothy and I are talking about women in cycling. So before we let you go, I wonder if you would share with us some of how you got cycling and how cycling became a big part of your life and your words and thoughts on getting more women on bikes.
It's a massive passion of mine as a longtime feminist activist, but well, I got into cycling through my husband, who's a bike messenger and was a bike messenger in Seattle. So I was around the bike community in Seattle, and then one of my bandmates, Tanya Renee, is a cyclist, and she was always cycling to our practices, and I was always jealous of the way they got around. And when we moved back to LA, just for me to go to grad school, I just was like, I love this town, but I hate being in my car. So I just started riding, and luckily I had such a great mentor in Dave to just help me get up to speed to commuter cycling within the first, year or so. I graduated to a road bike from a cruiser. So it's been, a great process. But I just got accepted as a scholarship candidate for the League Certified Instructor Program through Women on Bikes. So
Yay.
I'm really excited about getting to know that organization and what they're doing through this scholarship program, and eventually, hopefully becoming a League Certified Instructor so I can target some programs in West Hollywood to get more women and girls on bikes in West Hollywood for sure.
Awesome. Well, Tess, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Alexis and Nick and Dorothy, and
Thanks,
have a
Tess.
great show.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, we're going to have Melissa Baumer from Women on Bikes hopefully join us around 11 o'clock to talk a little bit about the Women on Bikes SoCal bicycle instructor program that they're doing. They've provided scholarships to, I believe, 12 women that are from around the county, but and with the hopes of having them help lead women-only bicycle classes. So we'll hear more about that later. And Tess reminded me this coming week. First off, May is Bike Month. Second off, next week is Bike Week in LA. So there are a number of events happening around the county. Metro is organizing quite a few events. Both Monday and Wednesday there are rides along the expo in the morning. Tuesday is Blessing of the Bicycles at Good Samaritan Hospital. And
What happens with that?
well, there are a number of denomination leaders that come out and give some morning blessings and get you a little ride, and they bless you as you ride past. It's a lot of fun. There's usually some free food and coffee and swag, and BC Libre, which is LACBC's bike co-op. They'll be out helping with free bike repair, and then if folks want to, because our co-op space is right at the corner of 6th and Lucas, folks can come over afterwards and fix up their bikes even more and see the space.
What day is that again?
That is Tuesday, May
15?
Yeah, sorry.
Your co-op space is BC Libre, you say?
Yes. And then on Thursday is Bike to Work Day. There are going to be pit stops. If you heard Tess say in West Hollywood, they're going to have a number. There are a number happening around the county. LACBC will have. We're going to have 2 on Sunset Boulevard and Silver Lake, 1 on each side of the street. So if you're headed towards Hollywood, stop by. And if you're headed towards downtown, we'll have some stuff for you to stop and chat with us as well. We'll also have a pit stop down on Spring Street. And we'll hope to see some folks there. But the big fun for us on Thursday is that we have a Bike to Work after party, which will be at Senor Fish. And that is from 5 to 9. We'll have free bike valet. They run some happy hour specials there. So come on down after work to the Senor Fish in downtown in Little Tokyo at the corner of First and Alameda. So that should be a lot of fun.
Cool.
But if you're in other parts of the county, there's going to be stuff going on out in Pomona. They're doing a bunch of pit stops, and they're going to have an after work party out in Pomona. So a lot of things going on next week.
Yeah, and just a little aside, I'm helping out also with Bike Week Pasadena.
Oh, great.
And
Yeah, that's right.
Cycle is doing a week's worth of really fun events going on in and around Pasadena. And then specifically for the women, Tuesday the 15th is the Women's Ride. And also I'm part of a cycling group called the Luna Chicks Los Angeles. And we host rides from Pasadena Cyclery every Tuesday for newer riders, starting at 5:45 p.m. every Tuesday. And for Bike Week, we're actually going to meet at Paseo, Colorado. And there will be a bike maintenance clinic, bike safety check.
Oh, awesome.
How women can do it themselves. So we're going to do some hands-on stuff. And then we'll have a celebratory ride around Pasadena afterwards. And there's all kinds of fun stuff going on all week long. Bike Week Pasadena, and that's part of Cycle.
Yeah. So nonstop fun coming up next week.
Wow, yeah, it's packed. This would have been a good show to have on Women on Bikes, like next week.
Next week?
We will.
We'll
Maybe
be on
we'll just
bikes
repeat-
next week.
Here's chicken leather.
Nick, we're not going to restrict it to 1 week. For me, Bike Week is year round, but it just seems like the cities and the municipalities only get together for 1 week, and we've talked about this before. Why couldn't they offset it? So week 1, go to Pasadena. Week 2, Long Beach. Week 3, L.A. or something like that. What do you think?
Oh, I have no opinion about that. Yes, sure, that sounds great. Every week would
Every
be a
week
different.
could be bike week.
Yeah.
I mean, every week is bike week for those of us who ride bicycles.
That's
Right.
true. But the cool thing that I've seen over this sort of evolution of riding bicycles here is the growth of bicycle infrastructure. To me, even though it's got a long way to go, there's all of these routes that are now planted in all of these cities. And you probably see it, Alexis. But it's so cool just to hear, West Hollywood talking about what they're doing, and Pasadena Avenue for me to connect to a route to downtown Los Angeles. There's a paved road with beautiful bike lanes in them. And,
Yeah.
and so the discussions are just growing more and more.
Yeah, there's more bicycle infrastructure happening around the county. Oh, great. We've got Cynthia Rose from Santa Monica Spoke who's going to join us really quick to give us an update on bicycle infrastructure in Santa Monica. Good morning, Cynthia.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for calling in this morning.
Yeah, of course. I missed. It was so fun being down there with Nick when we were down there. We kept him so late. I'm still remembering that.
Well, maybe you can give us a
just
little.
heard test.
Yeah. Can you give us a little update on what's planned for things next week in Santa Monica, but just what's going on in general? Any new infrastructure?
Well, it's hard to do it quickly because there is so much going on. As you know, we opened the Bike Center last year and then the Bike Learning Campus a few weeks ago. And last year, I think we had 3 or 4 pit stops on Bike to Work Day. And this year, I'm counting 17 in the city of Santa Monica.
Whoa, that's awesome.
It is unbelievable. So we had like this loose plan of having somebody from Spoke at every single pit stop, and there's more stuff happening than we can even keep track of, much less be at to promote the bike and LACBC. It's crazy.
What happens at a pit stop?
Oh, can you give a little rundown on what happens at a pit stop, Cynthia?
Well, either for Metro and the Bike to Work Day, it's an outreach. So it depends on what group is actually doing the pit stop, but essentially it's supporting biking and letting people know that are going by about local groups or whatever the shop is that's hosting it. So you could probably give a more concise description of a pit stop. But in Santa Monica, we have the pit stop that they do every year in front of City Hall, where City Hall, they valet the bikes for anybody who works at City Hall all day long. So they arrive in the morning, they valet their bike out front, and then they go to work. And then they do one at the Visitors Bureau, but they also do ones at places like, this year, there's a cafe that's doing one, which is not bike-related. Fair Piers is doing one. REI always does one. They're always great. There's, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Rosaria de Piccolo. A restaurant is doing one. We're doing one. Whole Foods, 2 different Whole Foods locations.
So it sounds like if you want to eat for free,
I'm going to Santa Monica.
Come to Santa Monica.
Come to Santa Monica.
Yeah, and we're also, as you probably know, Alexis, we're trying to do a pit stop survey and find out how many people are participating in Bike to Work Day for the first time. So we're going to try to get that survey that Colin Bogart started, I guess, in Glendale, and we set it up for Santa Monica, and we're going to try to get that to all of our Santa Monica pit stops, and then give a prize to people who actually participate. And I guess the city is also doing a raffle. They're raffling off a bike.
Oh, awesome.
So if you go to their pit stops, you can join. You can sign in to win the bike and some other prizes. And then if you can't make it to their pit stop, if you email Jacqueline Brooks at smgov.net, she will, if you participate in Bike Day, she'll add you to the list.
Awesome. So you can not only eat for free, but you could maybe win a bicycle.
Exactly. And then also, one of our big things that's happening right after Bike Week is on Saturday is the Santa Monica Festival. And last year was the first year that Santa Monica spoke. We put together a bike exhibition. So what we intended to do, and I think we did a pretty good job last year, and we hope we do a better job this year, is just demonstrating the versatility of the bicycle. So we had roughly 30 bikes there last year, and a lot of them in tandem, so two of the same bike, but set up differently. So maybe a road bike set up to go fast, and then with a rack and panniers, or panniers, depending on how you say it, it would demonstrate that you could also use that bike as a commuter bike. And we had cargo bikes, we had folding bikes, we had cruisers, we had city bikes, we had mountain bikes, and they were all just showing how people can take one bike and either make it personally their own or take one style of bike and make it into something that's going to be useful for them in their daily life or their play.
Awesome.
So that's on the 19th.
That's on Saturday, the 19th?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's super fun. And also, Ciclavia will be there have a booth with us at the festival, and that will be an emphasis on getting input for bringing Ciclavia to the west side. So we'll have a big map, and people can mark the map as to how they think we could connect to the original route Ciclavia, or how we could have our own west side Ciclavia. So that's going to be a big draw, hopefully. They'll have Ciclavia merchandise, which supports the cause of having these wonderful open streets for people to bicycle or walk or skateboard or whatever. But hopefully by next year, that entire event will come all the way to the ocean.
That would be great. I'd love to be able to bike on open streets for people from downtown to the west side.
Exactly. Not about closing the streets, it's about opening the streets for everyone. It was a beautiful Ciclavia last time, and I think it's only going to, and I think we all know it's only going to get better and better and better, especially if we can expand. And I know Pomona's working on it, and I think the North Valley is working on Ciclavias. This is huge. It's awesome.
I think Nick has a question.
Just like websites and go over the dates.
Oh yeah, so Cynthia, if you could just give folks a good website where they can find information, maybe Santa Monica Spoke website where they can find information, or if the city has some information online about their pit stops.
The city has the list is not posted. It will be posted probably later today or tomorrow. But our website, smspoke.org, smspoke.org, will have that list up. I don't know if the city actually has it posted, but we'll have all that information on our website and on the Santa Monica Festival and all of that stuff. So that's continually being updated. So as soon as I get the latest and greatest list, I'm going to post that, and then I'm going to keep updating it as if people add to it or when times get changed. There's one that's not on there, so I'm trying to find out for sure whether they're going to have one.
Okay.
Which would make 17.
And if folks want to find out just in general where pit stops are, a lot of them are listed at metro.net, I think /Bike Week. Or if you just go under metro.net /bikes, you'll see the posting for Bike Week, and then it'll list where all the pit stops and events are happening around the county this coming week.
Yeah, we have that same link on our website, and it has an easy link to a map. So if you don't, because it's actually the list is kind of difficult to get around because it's just a list with no addresses of places.
Oh, okay.
So if you click on the link, whether you go to Metro's site or whether you get to it through our site or LACBC site, if you click on the map, it's a lot more visual. You can actually see the pins, and you can see whether that business is actually in your area, and then click on it.
So if you don't have to be at work till 10, get up early and enjoy biking around LA County and getting a lot of free food.
Or take the day off.
Or take the whole day off. Exactly.
Oh, that's one thing.
Thursday, this coming Thursday.
Yeah. You're having your bike from work event, and we are also doing a bike from work event, although we are still finding our final venue. It'll be somewhere in downtown Santa Monica, and that will be posted on our website probably by Monday.
Great.
And that, as the phrase that you got was the handlebar happy hour.
Yeah.
That's what we're labeling ours as the handlebar happy hour. And hopefully we're going to have free bike valet at the bike center, and then people can walk over to our venue.
Awesome.
And their bikes will be all locked up. Nice
Awesome.
and safe.
Well, Cynthia, thanks for giving us a little update on things that are going to be happening next week in Santa Monica.
Yay!
All right. I think we're going to have Sarai Snyder joining us shortly, so I'm going to hang up so that she can call in.
That's great. I'll keep listening in. Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks,
Alexis.
Cynthia.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Bye, Dorothy. Bye, Nick. Bye.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
See, like a lot of this stuff that's going on, and I'm learning as we're sitting here. And I think this calls for a bike to work day pit ride.
Yeah, a skip work day.
A pit ride.
All right. Hi.
Citywide, countywide.
Is this Sarai?
Hey, it's Mark Elliott.
Oh, it's Mark Elliott. All right, cool. A little Beverly Hills update. So you haven't started the Montrose History Ride yet, then?
Well, I'm standing here with what's looking like about 30 or 40 cyclists, and Colin Bogart's giving a little bit of the intro, what to expect on the ride, so we'll probably shove off soon.
Well, maybe in just a quick, a brief minute or two, you could give us a little update on what's going on in Beverly Hills. What's going on in Beverly Hills?
Well, this past week we had our city's first ever public airing of discussion of bike facilities, and what was on the agenda of the Traffic and Parking Commission, which is the step before City Council. What was on their agenda was looking at 5 possible routes for improvements on the north side of the city, which is, larger lots, broader streets, less populated up there. They were looking at bike lanes for a few segments. And in the southern two-thirds of the city, they were looking mostly at sharrows across these 5 routes. And about 1 of 8 of those route segments were for bike lanes. Mostly sharrows were on the table.
Yeah, they weren't suggesting a lot of big changes.
No, not a lot of. It's really low-hanging fruit in Beverly Hills. Whatever they can, the lowest hanging fruit they can pick, and then say we picked some fruit. That's kind of the objective. But we knew that going in. But what we were looking for was really more signal from this kind of advisory policymaker level as to which way the wind is blowing. And what we found was that of those 5 routes, the commission voted to recommend to City Council that they look at improvements on 3 of them. And the 2 that they left off the table were really the 2 that I think cyclists were most interested in, because they are the streets that are a little bit most heavily traveled and most crowded. And, there was kind of a circular logic where they would say, well, these 2 streets in particular, they're heavily traveled, they're dangerous for cyclists, so we don't want to give them facilities because that will create a false sense of security.
Yeah.
So you can see the logic problem there.
Yeah. So now that this, they've made these recommendations and this is going forward, it sounds like, based on how that meeting went, one of the big things is making sure that if you live and ride in Beverly Hills, to sort of get involved with you and get involved with coming out to whenever the next city council meeting is, because
Yeah, we're expecting the 3 routes that they recommended to go to city council in late June. They want to do something before the beginning of the fiscal year, July 1st. So we're expecting those routes to go before city council in late June. And there are 2 things to add. One is that the recommendation from Traffic and Parking was just a recommendation. City Council can look at all the 5 routes and say no to all of them. They could look at them and say yes to all of them. So there's really an opportunity here to get before City Council, organize a little bit before, get in touch with me at betterbikes.org, organize before so that when we get to City Council understands that cyclists are here and there are more coming, as one of our sympathetic commissioners said the other night. And we can also encourage them to look beyond even what was recommended for those 5 routes and say, there's an opportunity here, if this is a pilot program, as how the city described it, and if we're looking to learn from it, as the city officials have said, let's do something really imaginative, out of the box.
Yeah.
If it's a busy street and lanes are difficult on this busy street because we do have a lot of car congestion, well, let's look at bike boxes. Let's look at some maybe dedicated signaling to get cyclists that jump ahead of the cars. Let's think a little outside the box and learn from it. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to be able to say when we get to City Council, hopefully in late June.
Well, so now we need to work on getting your city council to leave Beverly Hills and maybe go check out all the stuff that's happening in Santa Monica or Long Beach and get some inspiration so that when this comes before them, they know what we're talking about.
Absolutely. I think what we learned from that meeting was we had 5 commissioners that were discussing this. Two had been involved in a bike plan update committee. It was a very small committee, and they were meeting with cyclists over 5 sessions, and they had some idea what bike improvements are, and they heard from us directly, what the need is. And they were also the biggest boosters. It was the other 3 commissioners who don't have familiarity. They're not bike riders, of course, either. And so for them, this was all new, and that allows the old misconceptions to come in that, cyclists are a bunch of crazy nuts. Look, they just zoom through the red. So as one said, we just don't feel like we want to give them anything.
Yeah.
That's kind of the negative outlook that we want to turn around, and that comes with exposure, and that comes with information, and of course that comes with a little bit of organizing. So if you're out there, if you're listening and you're from Beverly Hills, drop me a line at betterbike.org. Call your city council folks and let them know safe streets are important to you.
And if you're listening and you don't live in Beverly Hills but you have friends who live in Beverly Hills, tell them to get involved with Better Bike and to contact their council members as well.
Absolutely. And I want to say, whether you live or not in Beverly Hills, when you come through our town, and we welcome you to come through our town, we want you to take the advice that we got from a couple of those commissioners last night. Our streets are dangerous. We don't want to get a false sense of security, right? So when you come through town, make sure you take that entire right lane, because 95% of our lane miles are substandard, which means under the California code, that right lane is yours, all of it. So when you come through town, take your time and take that lane.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks, Mark, for giving us the update. Have a great time on the Montrose History Ride.
Super. I'm just about to catch up with the Peloton as it's making its way up here, and I got to say, sorry for being a little bit winded, but I had forgotten it was all uphill. I'm coming up from Silver Lake. Holy cow!
Yeah, exactly. Well, have fun, Mark. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Alexis. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. So, Alexis, that is so exciting. Beverly Hills also having some energy, and on May 20th, the final stage of the bike race Tour of California.
That's right, Amgen.
Will be going on and starting from Beverly Hills.
Exactly. So maybe that'll help us win over some some supporters in the city of Beverly Hills for bicycles, since they see the pros out there riding. But yeah, a lot of work to get done. And I was at the meeting on Tuesday night, and one of the commissioners really talked about how the city is becoming surrounded by bicycle infrastructure. So the fact that people there are unfamiliar with it or don't understand it is kind of a farce, because you leave and you get on Santa Monica Boulevard. There's bike lanes on both sides. You get out to Santa Monica and LA. You see the Sharrows. You see all this infrastructure happening. So it's there, and Beverly Hills cannot be an island unto itself with no bicycle infrastructure. So it's a big part of connecting the region, is making sure that all of the cities are working independently but also together to help connect the county. All right, great. So we've got Sarai Snyder joining us, and so hold on, let me just put her on the phone here. Hi, Sarai.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, Sarai.
Thank you.
Here, I'm going to actually hand the phone over to Dorothy so that she can kind of lead the interview. Hold on one second.
Sounds great.
Hi, Sarai.
Hi, Dorothy.
How's your day going?
Awesome.
Good. And we are now at the day before an amazing event called CycloFem, which you are, I would call, the brainchild of, making this amazing energy for women and rides going on worldwide. So tell us about CycloFem.
Sure. I'm having a little bit of a hard time kind of, containing my enthusiasm, but I'll try.
It's going to be fun.
I just got a couple more ride updates this morning. We have now 160 rides in 14 countries.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing statement for women and men coming together to celebrate and support women in cycling. The idea was to, kind of take a minute to think and pull together everybody's voices and honor the past, celebrate the present, and empower the future of women in cycling.
And what motivated you to want to do this?
There's so many amazing things going on right now for women in cycling. So many people trying to encourage more women to ride bikes. But I have felt like it could be a little bit disjointed as a movement. Not enough conversation about how can we really push this forward and not just focus on what each one individual person is doing, but as a collaborative, how can we pull our energy and our voices to create that louder message? And so I thought, well, what better way than to start an international holiday?
And to me, the thing, just, talking to you about maybe a month ago, not even a month ago, at the Seattle Classic, and learning more about it, it's just amazing how quickly the women have come together. And so how do you feel about that? And how do you think it all just sort of clicked?
I think it's just amazing. I think the timing was right. I think we kind of had a perfect storm of opportunities between the networks that we had through Girl Bike Love as a website, and then just everybody wanting to get involved, and it's Bike Month, and there's just so many exciting things. And then looking at the image itself, it's so empowering the woman on the bike. We have these temporary tattoos, so if people don't know that, we have temporary tattoos with this beautiful CycloFemme logo that was created by Language Department in New York. We started talking about it in, I want to say January, and we announced CycloFemme on March 2nd.
Wow, this pulled together really fast.
Pulled together fast, definitely.
Well, it's a simple message. It's a simple message and just a really basic idea. Just get on your bike and ride for women.
That's really awesome. Can you, since there are 160 rides and you said 14 countries
right
now participating, can you just, off the top of your head, maybe give us a handful or a few of the rides where you're just kind of like, wow?
Sure. I mean, the first ride that popped up that was not in the U.S. was in Melbourne, Australia, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. Yay, we're hopping over the water. But then seeing more and more rides, I want to say there's probably 8 rides in Australia now.
Oh, wow.
Which is amazing.
That's crazy.
Puerto Rico just registered this morning.
That's so cool.
Let's see. We have, the list is so long, it's so fun to scroll through. Several in Canada. We have 2 in the Czech Republic.
Oh, wow.
Berlin, Italy. Actually, the Italians rode today because they're calling for hail and thunderstorms tomorrow.
Oh, no.
2 in Poland.
Cool.
Mexico, Sweden. I mean, the list goes on. It's just amazing.
Yeah, so what's really going to be amazing is tomorrow rides are going to be going on at various times and places for the most part, and images are going to be captured worldwide. It's going to be so exciting to see. So how is that kind of coming together?
Well, we've been communicating with all the ride leaders and asking them to collect as many photos and video documentation of the day, of the ride, of people telling their stories about how the bike has changed their life and, whatever they want to say about the day. And then we've set up a couple different opportunities for people to send us that information, and then afterwards putting it all together and making a statement of what we can do with a video.
Yeah, that's
pretty exciting.
That's definitely awesome, and so that will get linked through different. Here's the amazing thing for me that I see is that a lot of this has spread through social media and Facebook, and events will also be sort of communicated through Twitter and that sort of thing. So can you explain a little bit of that?
Sure, yeah. On our website, the CycloFem website, on the documentation page, we've set up a map, and we're hoping that it's going to work. It's moving a little slow right now, but that map will show all of the tweets and Instagram pictures that have the hashtag CycloFem that people send out throughout the day. So those will pop up on the map. The geotagging has to be on your phone, so it's kind of tricky to remember that little piece, but that should be really cool. We've got things that are already starting to show up on there. And then the photos, the Instagram photos, are also starting to populate on the website as well. So it's pretty cool.
There's been a lot of new ones with
watching
the tattoos.
it as it unfolds. And then the other really exciting thing is that I believe we have 3 teams that are riding in the Tour of California tomorrow, set to wear the tattoos.
Wow. They're doing different routes? Is that...
I'm sorry?
That's right. It's starting
Racing.
already.
Yeah. Starts tomorrow.
There's so much biking going on, Alexis. I'm losing track.
I know. I've been listening to all the stuff that's going on in California. It's so exciting.
Yeah, definitely exciting. And I think this event's going to be exciting. And we're going to have fun here in Los Angeles as, we start this ride. And hopefully this will... of course, it will showcase some amazing energy of women and supporters, guys.
Guys can come out too.
Yeah. In fact, it was so funny on my Facebook site. One of the guys politely asked if he could come, and I said, "Of course." But anyway, so it's exciting. And for our ride, we've got some hot pink and black socks. That I'm wearing right now.
They say hottie.
Yes, and then we have socks that say I'm with Awesome, and we have Diva socks and Save the Tata socks. And so I'm hoping to see, at least in our ride in Los Angeles, a lot of people wearing hot pink socks, and we've got some CycloFem tattoos and T-shirts and music, and we're going to actually be starting at the Rose Bowl for a little celebratory loop, and we're going to ride to downtown Los Angeles.
And if you live downtown, you can start. I'm planning on starting from the LA Historic Park.
Exactly. And then we're going to meet up with however many people want to meet us at LA State Historic Park, and we're going to do a celebratory loop in the park. And then from there, people can decide if they want to continue on, because I'd like to go up to a little area called Grandview Point in Elysian Park, just above, which has a beautiful view of downtown LA, and everyone can sort of define their ride as they go. So isn't that also the point, Sarai? The ride is what we make of it?
Absolutely. It's just about being on the bike, and, it's fun to see all the different rides when you look at the ride list. Everybody's got these different ideas about, what it means to get together and ride and celebrate, and it's wonderful. We've got mountain bikers and road bikers and city bikers and, casual riders. It's amazing.
Exactly.
So maybe
it's not about what you ride.
So, Sarai, maybe you can repeat for us your website and where folks can go. It's not too late to register a ride, right? Folks can still sign up a ride if they want to join in.
Let's make 200.
Yeah.
So if you're on the west side, if you're down in Long Beach, if you're out in San Gabriel Valley, you can get your own CycloFem ride going. And Sarai, where should they register their ride?
The website is cyclofemme.com. So it's Cyclofemme.com. And the Get Involved page is where you would register the rides or tell your story, and then as soon as I get the email, I'll put it up.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to actually go on my ride tomorrow with Dorothy, but also to see everything that comes in from throughout the day from all the rides happening around the world.
I know. I can't wait to see the pictures and the videos, and I think it's going to be quite a task to put something together from it because there's going to be so much, but wow.
Are you actually going to be able to get out to ride, or are you going to be behind the computer all day, like watching this all come in?
Oh, no. I as a matter of fact, I think there's 8 rides here in Boulder, and we have managed to coordinate so that we're all going to meet in the park around noon. And someone kind of put that together. I said, I think I just want to ride my bike tomorrow. Can I just not do anything for this? And they're like, yes, we'll do it. So it's been pretty cool. And then afterwards, going to go try to catch the tour of California on the TV and see if we can sneak a peek of any tattoos.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning and telling us more about this whole event.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Sarai. Have a great day tomorrow.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. So it's so awesome, that this is going on. And I totally forgot my point that I was going to talk about.
Well, one of the things that's so important about highlighting female cycling to me is the fact that in the United States right now, we have such a small percentage of women who ride bicycles for everyday transportation. We have a lot more women that get out for recreation, but even still when it's recreation, it's not, it's like riding on the beach path. And not that that's bad, that's a good thing, but it's not for just sort of everyday activity. And when we look at other countries, what we see is a lot more women are out cycling. I think in Amsterdam, about 53% of people cycling are women. And in Los Angeles right now, only about 20% of people that are out cycling are women. And that's just commuting to work. That's not, running to the store and all that stuff. But with our bike count, which we look at the peak hours, so when people are going to work, but also on the weekend, we find that there are a lot more men out. And so a big part of it is addressing the various issues that maybe hold women back from cycling. And a big part of that is the infrastructure on the streets. I think another part of that is just, what you were saying before about the mentoring and just showing that this can be a really easy, fun thing to do, that you don't have to have special equipment. You can just hop on a bike. You don't have to be wearing something special unless you want to, or unless you're doing bigger, longer rides. But, you can ride however you want. And I think another big part of it is...
But there is a lot of special stuff you could wear.
Yeah, there's a lot of special, so much special stuff. And, there are different types of bikes for different kind of riders. And I think one of the things is women carry the burden of the household. So one of the great things that is finally coming in the United States and Flying Pigeon Bikes has a lot of are the cargo bikes that make it easy for a mom to get kids to school, pick up groceries, do all that type of thing. And also, extra cycles, a lot of different types of bikes that make it great and easy to get out with your family and ride and be able to run to the store and the library and do all of those things that we all, we need to do every day. So I don't know, Dorothy, do you have any thoughts kind of on some of the issues?
No, I think you did really well right there, talking about all of those things. And and we can call it infrastructure and safety and mentorship. But my little thing is really defining the fun in riding a bike, because that is something that if you can touch the bike and start pedaling the bike, it's really fun.
Yeah. I think, that's really getting people to experience it is.
Yeah. And so I would like to, with more events, like honestly, Bike Week is actually a fun, showcasing how much fun bicycling can be is definitely an awesome thing. And also how Ciclavia has done that.
Yeah. Ciclavia has been a real game changer. I think it gets folks out who they did a survey. The UCLA student did his master's thesis on Ciclavia, and they did some surveys of folks that had come, and they asked them, how often do you ride a bike? Is this your first time doing this? And a lot of folks, for them, it was sort of their first time coming out and riding their bicycle and experiencing the streets of LA.
Well, when you see the pictures of it, it's amazing. It's like, where are all these cyclists?
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden the streets are covered with bicycles.
Yeah.
I agree. Wait a second.
Here
I'm going
comes-
to do this. I concur. Alexis, you were talking earlier about Berlin, and I'm going to tie this in like I'm Tom LaBonge. You know, Berlin
He
is
loves
our
Berlin.
sister city, right?
He loves to bring it up.
I really have to look at this a little beyond this. Berlin was bombed during the war. I mean, they went through all this horrible stuff, and yet they're excelling at passing us up. When you were there, did you see anything besides the fact that it was safer for women and kids, which is always like an indicator group? Something maybe that you could bring back here and say, look, if we just did this in Los Angeles, I know we had the Dutch in with the green lane, but anything else besides putting paint on the ground that we can expect?
You know, I wish I could say that I could speak more to what was in Berlin, but because I was there as a child and have not gone back as an adult, I really don't remember that much other than I rode my bike to school and it was easy. And I think because it was so easy, I really don't remember. Like, I really cannot remember what the infrastructure was like. I think because it was so easy to navigate that I didn't even think about it. It didn't, and that was a big part of it. And I think that's what that's what's so important about creating a connected network and a network that works and feels safe, is that when you're doing it, you don't even necessarily have to think about it. And I think that's maybe one of the lessons to learn from Europe and cities like Berlin is how can we make a connected network where you don't even really have to think about how you're navigating it and maybe interacting with moving traffic and all that stuff.
Definitely. And then even for me, I rode my bicycle down here, and I started out on lovely tree-lined streets with not a lot of cars. And then I found my way going through Glendale, and they had their sharrows laid out, so that made me feel a little safer that, hey, bikes are part of this system. And then I found my way onto the lovely LA River bike path, where it was me and the bikes and a couple of runners. And then all of a sudden, I found myself on Fletcher.
That's so nice.
Praying and Silver Lake, and and then as I started merging in with the cars, it became quite scary.
Yeah.
So definitely, I agree. The infrastructure, making it easy, making good routes.
And one of the things we found, so we just did a bike countdown on Spring Street. We did it before and after the new bicycle lane was installed on Spring Street. So we went out on a weekday, and we went out at 3 time periods. We went out from 7 to 9 a.m., 11 to 1 p.m., and 4 to 6 p.m. on the weekday. And then on the weekend, we went out from 11 to 1 in the afternoon just to sort of understand what's going on in the middle of the day on a weekend. And we found that between November and May, when the before and after the bicycle lanes were installed, there was a 52% increase in overall cycling across those time periods. Wow. But what was really, really impressive was that there was a 161% increase in female cycling on those streets. Wow. And we saw during the day, in the morning, afternoon, and evening, there was an increase in female cycling, but the biggest jump was on the weekend, where it was a 650% increase in female cycling. So on Saturday, 650% increase. Now, if I actually tell you the numbers, it's a pretty small amount of.
but still.
But yeah, we went from virtually no women riding on Spring Street to a lot of women riding on Spring Street, comparatively. I mean, and I think what the weekend shows, and I actually think the weekend speaks really highly to both Ciclavia and just the transformation of downtown LA, because there are more and more people coming down to go shopping, go to restaurants, go to the museums, explore. And I think when folks experience Ciclavia and they see all that downtown has to offer, they're coming back to downtown on the weekends and exploring downtown as well. And the other interesting thing is we did the count in November, and we saw no children on Spring Street. And when we went back, we still didn't see any kids during the week, but on the weekend, there were a couple of kids that were out cycling with their family parents. So, I think that also speaks to the changing demographics of downtown LA. You have more families moving down there as well now. So,
how often so you did this count? I remember you did the count.
We did the big citywide count we do is every 2 years, and we do it in September. And we do that in line with the National Bicycle and Pedestrian Documentation Project, which is encouraging cities and municipalities to do bicycle counts every September They sort of designate a week as National Bike and Pedestrian Count Week, and that's when you're sort of encouraged to do it. So we do that in line with that, so that there can be nationwide data that's being collected on the rates of cycling and walking across the country, and it's Alta Planning and Design that kind of is organizing that. So if you go to the National Bicycle Pedestrian Documentation Project, you can learn more. They have all the count information there, all the things you do, and then when you're done doing your count, you send all the information and data back to them. And their hope is that they're looking for funding, I think, from the national level to make all this information public and accessible to anybody. But so we do, that's our big count. And then one of the things we've been trying to do with some of the bicycle infrastructure as it goes in, especially, something like Spring Street, which is innovative and different, is to do the before and after studies so that we can really quantify the city's investment in cycling, and show that, it just, the research is out there that shows that when you invest in infrastructure, people use it. Yeah. And it's like building, if you build a road, if there's no road there, no one uses that piece of land for driving. If you build a road, all of a sudden people are going to drive on it. So if you build bike lanes, people are going to bike on them. So we're finding with the bike count, we had a couple of locations where bicycle infrastructure was installed between 2009 and 2011. On the Sharrow streets, we saw an increase in cycling, but it was really impressive with the bike lanes. 7th Street had 196% increase in cycling with the installation of bicycle lanes on 7th Street. So, people may be shifting from different streets over to those streets, but at the same time, we're probably seeing a lot of new folks riding. And one of the things we'd really like to do, we just don't have the funding and manpower yet, is to try and do surveys as well as doing the count so that we can really understand who's riding, why are they riding, how often do they ride, and all those things. So if you're a funder and you're listening and you want to give us some money to do research, that would be great.
So how many people work at LACBC?
We have 4 full-time staff, and then we have about 6 or 7 part-time staff.
And do you guys all have a common vision of what you need to do?
Well, I mean, our mission is to create a better bikeable LA County. So all of our work intertwines with trying to achieve that mission. A big part of that is, for me at least, is fostering the regional chapters. So getting more folks engaged in local advocacy in their communities around the county so that the county is better served and we're getting more momentum building, which we're seeing. We're seeing so much momentum happening around the county. And a lot of that is because of the cycling community, that we have so many passionate people that want to put the pressure on the city leaders and really make a difference and are willing to go out and do the door-to-door outreach and talk to local businesses and really get stakeholders involved in making their communities better. And then the other part of that is, the events. It's also education. We have a lot of groups like Cycle, Sustainable Streets, and LACBC who are all doing education in different capacities to try and, help address bad cycling, I guess. A lot of people don't necessarily know the rules of the road. So we want to make sure that folks all understand their responsibilities, but then also how the rules work in their favor. I think a lot of times folks get stopped for things that are not legitimate, and so it's powerful to know what are your rights and when you're on the road.
So you want to educate people and you want to get more people mobilized.
Yeah, more people mobilized, more infrastructure on the ground, more funding. That's a big thing we're really looking for, is more funding from the county level coming through to local cities so that they can get the infrastructure implemented. Also, Metro, which is our county transportation planning organization, they don't only run the buses and the trains, they also are building highways, and they're doing all these crazy things. Some of it good, like the highways, not so good. And when they're doing these highways, like they're going to be expanding the 710 down in the Long Beach, South LA area, and they're going to be making it, I think, like 2 to 4 lanes wider. They're going to be revamping all of those on and off ramps. And when they touch those on and off ramps, it can make those streets even less safe for cyclists and pedestrians and create greater divides in our communities. We see so many communities, especially in South LA, and I feel like in the San Gabriel Valley, where you may have a town that's got some bike stuff, or you have like in South LA, you have the LA River path that comes down, except for all of the major streets have highway on and off ramps. And so it's really intimidating to try and get down to the river path because the entrance to the river path is right next to a freeway on ramp, you know? And so
that's crazy.
And it's the same thing out in the San Gabriel Valley, like out in Baldwin Park. It's really hard to connect from Baldwin Park to El Monte and South El Monte because you have freeway on and off ramps. And there's this great river path that's down there, but you know, it's not easy to get to. So those are things that we want to see better addressed, so that Metro takes more responsibility and Caltrans takes more responsibility. That if they're going to, I mean, ideally they don't do these highway projects, but if they have to do them, if they're so compelled, that they do a better job of integrating in bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure, and they really do, connect our communities instead of further divide them.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, the easier they make it, the more motivating it is for people not to drive and to use public transportation and bicycling.
Yeah.
So it's like this sort of weird thing, like why don't we really focus on that instead of making bigger highways that never really totally help the problem?
Yeah, and the easier you make it to drive, the less incentive there is to
exactly
to alternative transportation.
Exactly. And Metro is building out, we have 3010 plan. We have Expo that just opened up. It's going to be expanding to the west side over the next couple of years. All these other light rail and subway projects coming up. And we also have, we have the bus rapid transit system. We have, it's not bus rapid. We have the Orange Line, and then we also have the rapid buses, and hopefully we'll have a bus-only lanes on Wilshire. And so a big part of what we would like to see an organization like Metro do is really also spend the money on creating the bicycle and pedestrian improvements around those major transit destinations, so that it's really easy to access those stations by walking and biking. And right now, when we did the bike count, we did count at several locations where there are major bus and rail stops, like Hollywood and Highland, 7th and Alvarado, Wilshire and Western, I think. Okay. Well, so I'm forgetting all of them. But anyways, we looked at some of those, and those were the areas where we not only saw the highest density of pedestrians, but we also saw a lot of cyclists. And those are all areas, with the exception of 7th Alvarado, where there is not any bicycle infrastructure. So, those aren't necessarily the easiest places to get to, but that's where people want to be able to access that transit. So we need to be thinking holistically about how we connect the transit users to the transit station, and a big part of that is making it easy to walk and bike.
Well, you cover
Go ahead.
You cover such a large area for a relatively small organization. I mean, like Chicago's Active Trans has 43 people on staff, and you guys have 4.
Yeah.
So
covering 10 million people.
Yeah,
I don't know how many miles. Los
and I
Angeles
think
County.
the Transportation Alternatives in New York City has about 20 full-time staff, and San Francisco Bicycle Coalition, which is a city of 700,000 people, has 12 full-time staff. So we encourage everyone to become a member of LACBC, because that's how we support our work and expand our efforts. Membership is the number one way that we're able to grow and better serve the diverse cycling community in Los Angeles. I mean, that's sort of the difficulty for us, is really, the more members we have of LACBC, the more we're able to do, and the more power we have politically. I think it's interesting to look at San Francisco Bike Coalition. It's a city of 700,000 people. There are 12,000 members of the Bicycle Coalition. Wow. 1 in 60 people is a member of the Bike Coalition. So when the Bike Coalition steps in the room, politicians listen, because you're representing 1 out of 60 voters in the city. And it's up in the Seattle area. The Cascade Bicycle Club has 16,000 members. So
the AAA is the largest membership organization after the Catholic Church.
Wow, I did not know that, but I'm not surprised.
So their lobbying power is really huge.
Catholic who?
Church.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, and AAA wields a lot of power. I mean, those are sort of the number one group that we're oftentimes coming up against. At the city level, at the county level, at the state level, AAA kind of has a hand in everything. And if we have about between 12 to 1,300 members right now. So if we could get another 10,000 members, that would be great. We'd be able to expand our staff. When I envision LECBNC in the future, I envision, having 5 full-time staff just devoted to the city of LA and another 10 or 12 staff that are devoted to the different areas of the county. As we grow our local chapters, a big part of it is having them help bring on more membership and funding so that we can hire them, one of them to be the lead organizer. They already are the lead organizers, but actually pay them to be the lead organizer working on issues and getting the community engaged in their part of the county. So that the regional partnership program is one of the ways that we're looking to not only build membership and better serve the county, but hopefully bring on more staff that can be focused, that really knows the issues, that knows the politicians in those areas, and can really help push the bicycle agenda forward.
That's this is great, and I know you've been very diplomatic about dancing around and making generalizations, but can we bring up a couple of points only because I heard them at, of all things, a fundraiser for the Bike Kitchen, which I believe they made their quota and everything, so they're going to open up a new shop.
Yeah.
And I think everybody sort of downplays the fact that bicycle collectives are doing their part in this equation too. But if you think about it, if it wasn't for a bicycle kitchen, there wouldn't be a bike oven, there won't be a bike or wave. And so, in essence, we're seeing how even things on a grassroots kind of thing are going out and affecting change here within the city. One of the things that I did hear, and gets to the controversy here, is they were talking about that little stretch there on Riverside where they're going to rip down I guess it was originally built as flood control, this bridge, and as a throughway for Riverside. And it's small, and it gets traveled by so many trucks and everything. So I don't know if it's an expansion or something, but I heard everybody explain, because of the way they're setting up barriers, it's now impervious almost to pedestrians, let alone bicycles.
Yeah.
But they were looking more like, if you were a pedestrian, how many laws would you have to break to be safe?
You basically have to get into the middle of the street and walk. And they had a sign up where the end of the river path is to cross Riverside Drive. They're like, they're like, sidewalk closed, walk on other side. Well, there is no sidewalk on the other side of the street. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of the issues that happens, I think, repeatedly is with roadway construction, with construction for development, and also with film crews, is that a lot of times the roadway is closed for a short duration of time, or with a roadway project or larger construction project, it could be closed for months or years, and there's really no real thought put into providing for pedestrians and cyclists to get through those areas. Obviously, bicycles in a lot of cases can just share the lane, but if it's not signed right, if it's not really informed, it makes a really dangerous situation. And I think by not providing pedestrian access, it puts the city into a real big liability situation. Just by having a sidewalk closed sign, if you're cutting off someone from accessing transit, from getting to work, if that's the only way to do it, it's violating some kind of law, especially ADA laws. So,
we can always have like a song too if you want to have a break.
Yeah, I need a drink of water actually.
Well, we're gonna scream offline while we play a song.
But Dorothy, why don't you talk about some of the women mountain bike stuff that's coming up, getting in the dirt?
And I think we're actually going to hear from one of our organizers. But I just wanted to say, the bicycle for me, when I came here, of course, I came from Hawaii, and I got off the airplane, and there were just these cement paths called freeways everywhere. And I literally got lost in LA with this sea of cement. And then, luckily, I discovered the bicycle, and I was able to discover LA because I got to go on all of these roads that have been here for a long time, and with some dirt, some nice routes to kind of get around away from the cars. And then the new discovery, which I'm excited to hear about, walking. I think we're going to talk to somebody later today about walking, right? Or did we do that already? No. But walking has been this sort of new phenomenon happening in LA, because we don't walk. Nobody walks in LA, right?
I was thinking that the other day. I was biking through Skid Row on my way home from work.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this reminds me of a lot of New York, and I thought, well, people in New York aren't like the people in Skid Row, for the most part. But it's the population density. It's the only place where you have as many people on the streets as you do in a city like New York, and then the rest of the streets, they look like the day after a comet hit. That's it. I'm done.
That's an interesting comment.
Rant.
So on the bicycle, when you go on the river paths, you can see the sort of dissection of the city. You can see that there is actually sort of a river that we need to actually remove some of the cement because we also have water issues. As our water goes out into the ocean and we don't have enough to drink, we have to get water from all these different sources. But walking, I've actually, May 19th and 20th, everyone should look up the Big Parade. And there are some other great walking organizations.
Yeah,
that
bigparadela.com.
Yes, is an awesome way to discover LA. And it's segmented, so you can walk for 35 miles over 2 days, or you can walk for 4 or 5 miles. And the places, and I've gone on some of the training walks. They actually did the Green Belt walk, where we walked 14 miles on mainly dirt around Los Angeles, near downtown, and then they just did the Bridges walk, walking over the bridges. And so I think biking and walking are the best partnerships for alternative, not alternative, almost should be mainstream
It
forms
is the mainstream. I mean, like walking, driving is a privilege. Walking is your right.
There you go.
So, that is the mobility that we all own on our own bodies that we can do unhindered every day. So I sometimes walk from just to shake it up because I love biking, but sometimes I just get tired of the same route every day. So I mix it up every once in a while, and then usually a couple times a month I'll walk the 4.5 miles from my house to downtown LA to work, and it's just a nice different way to start the day. It takes me about an hour and a half, and it's just I walk through Angelino Heights. I like seeing all the take a different street every time. I like seeing all the houses, and then walking down along Grand Avenue and walking through Dorothy Chandler Pavilion and seeing the museums and all that stuff. So,
and on the bicycle you can smell the air and sort of see what's going on. But when you walk, I was amazed. We walked 14 miles, the Greenbelt walk, and people came out of their houses. What are you doing? Oh, that's awesome. People just came out and were cheering you on.
How can you balance on those
walking.
things?
Yeah.
How can you balance
and then
on
you're like, can you actually walk 14 miles? Oh my God, how do you walk 14 miles? And I'm like, wow, I met a new person. We talked, we discovered, we looked at things. And 14 miles really isn't that hard to do.
No, but it can be tiring on your legs on the concrete. I do the Great Walk LA, which is usually organized in November, the weekend before Thanksgiving. And it's usually a walk along one of the major boulevards from downtown LA to Santa Monica. And so it's 14 to 16 miles on concrete sidewalks, and by the time I get to Santa Monica, like, my hips are just aching. But what I love about it is, just seeing all the different architecture and stuff. But for me, it's almost like a culinary tour. Pico Boulevard, I think, is by far my favorite. I stop, and it takes me 8 hours because I eat so much along the way.
Perfect.
Other people doing like 3 or 4. It takes me 8 because I stop to eat a lot. So, and so that I just, on the walking front, I'm also on the steering committee for a group called LA Walks. We are a new nonprofit organization. We're actually getting started under the Bicycle Coalition's 501c3 status. But we are trying to address pedestrian advocacy issues in the city of Los Angeles specifically. And one of the things that Deborah Murphy, who's the founder, has been working on for a long time is getting an actual pedestrian coordinator staff within LADOT. So, we have Michelle Mowry, who for a long time was she is the bicycle coordinator, and now there's a lot more staff working on bicycle engineering and planning over at LADOT, but we have never had anybody devoted to pedestrian issues. So now they're just 2 weeks ago, council passed a motion. And they sent out the job. So if anyone's looking for a job, LADOT is hiring pedestrian coordinators. Wow. So they're hiring two pedestrian coordinators, like a senior coordinator and an assistant coordinator, that will be specifically working on developing a safe routes to school priority plan for the city, but then also hoping to better address pedestrian in and ADA, and hopefully integrate more with bikeways so that we can be more competitive for grants and we can better align projects so that when bike projects are going in, especially, bike boulevard projects where they may be roundabouts and other things, we can also do pedestrian improvements and make neighborhoods better for everybody.
Did you go to school for planning or anything?
Yeah, I went to UCLA for urban planning. I graduated in 2010. But before that, my background is I got my undergraduate degree in graphic design, and I worked doing that for a little while. But for I moved to LA in 2003, and I was doing jewelry design.
Wow.
So,
Did you do those earrings?
Yeah.
I've noticed them. They're cool.
Diamond in the rough. Yes.
So my background was not an urban planner or anything like that. It's just something I really became passionate about living in Los Angeles.
That's cool.
Okay. Go ahead. Well, I'm thinking with all this stuff and promotion and graphics, there's one other thing that's coming up in June, is it? I can never remember June. Something about a river.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys?
Yes. Yeah, I'm hoping that JJ will call in and give us an update. We actually have a Marshall training ride going on right now. But June 10th, Sunday, June 10th, is the annual LA River Ride. It is our biggest fundraiser of the year. This is our 12th one. And we're celebrating the Mayan end of the calendar. I see the little Mayan theme going on with our logo this year.
That's what that's about.
Is this the end of the world then?
Yeah.
You're digging. I like that. So you don't have to contribute next year because there won't be another year.
Yeah, exactly. But we have rides for the whole family. And the cool thing about this year is that we actually have the ability formally for people to do reverse rides. So there will actually be registration down in Long Beach. And so if you want to start from Long Beach and ride to Griffith Park and back, you can do it. But the ride starts for the bulk of folks, it starts in Griffith Park. And we have a 100-mile ride. It's a century. It's probably the easiest century you can do because it's pretty much entirely flat with the exception of a little bit in the beginning in Griffith Park. Then there's a 70-mile ride, a 50-mile half century, which is the ride I usually do. And then the 36-mile ride, and then there's a 15-mile family ride. And then there's also a kids fun fair. So there's like a kids rodeo, and they can come out and just have fun. And we raffle off a lot of great stuff. We have pit stops all along the route. So there's oranges and peanut butter sandwiches and all kinds of drinks, everything you can need. So it's a great ride and great for the whole family to get out and do something fun. And if you register by May 15th, you save $10 on every single ride. And if you're an LACBC member, you save even a little bit more money. So we encourage folks to become members and join us for this ride on June 10th. You can find out more at the la-bike.org website. And I think if you just do /river ride, you'll find all the info. But you can pretty much find it from the homepage. And we're still looking for volunteers. So if you want to come out and volunteer, that's a great way to do the ride and not have to pay because it takes a lot of volunteers to do this type of thing. And if you email Martin, which is Martin at la-bike.org, he's our volunteer coordinator, and we'll get you set up with some of our remaining jobs we need help with.
Very good.
So we're jumping ahead. There's still Bike Week, and we had some emails, and we're going to definitely address in the last few minutes all the different events for Bike Week in a couple of the municipalities. This sounds really great that we're coming out for this ride, but as you hear, LACBC is a year-round kind of thing. So don't say, oh, well, I'll do it next year for Christmas or something. This is your Christmas coming up. Yeah. Right?
This is our Christmas. This is where LACBC, we make the bulk of our income beyond membership. This is a big part of our bottom line in helping us get our work done. So if you want to see more bike lanes in your community and more funding countywide for bicycle infrastructure, then I encourage you to come out and support us with the LA River Ride. But I want to, Dorothy, did you touch on all the events you've got coming up?
No, but I do want to just sort of say that the LA River Ride is a highlight of my year. I enjoy getting as many of my friends to come together and ride the river. And so I'm excited. We'll be there riding. And also, the river is actually something that everyone should also look at, I think, in terms of the efforts to not only become a transportation path, if you want to call it, the river trails, but also the revitalization of it. So there's lots of cool things going on along the rivers. And also, I think transportation-wise, I'm going to try and help bring some visibility to the route. I live in Altadena, which is LA County, and actually it's funny, if you Google bike routes Altadena and it shows you the different preferred routes, there's nothing in Altadena. What does that mean? It's all good. No, but there is now in the master plan of Los Angeles County, there are a bunch of new lines and bike boulevards.
Yeah, because right now you all have mostly routes. It's like Allen and Lake.
Yeah. But if you Googled, nothing green or dotted comes up in Altadena.
Yeah.
But anyway,
because all there is a tiny green sign saying bike route. It doesn't count.
So it'll be exciting to kind of see that definitely grow.
Yeah.
And this could be we'll see who this is.
Hey, this is Bike Talk. Who's this?
This is Jackie Van Workum.
Oh, hi, Jackie. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. All right, well, hold on. Let me hand you over to Dorothy, and she's going to ask you some questions.
Okay, great. I love being unprepared.
Hi, Jackie.
Hey, how are you, Dorothy?
Great. How's your day going?
Wonderful.
Good. Well, we're talking about all kinds of things today. A lot of stuff is based on the Los Angeles County Bicycle Coalition, and also Bike to Work Week, and also bicycling infrastructure, and also getting more women riding bicycles.
Love it.
So there was a great study done that Spring Street, I believe, they added is it a green lane?
It's a buffered. It was a green buffered bicycle lane.
Buffered bike lane.
The green's kind of gone in some places, but the buffer is still there.
Yes. So it's a very popular route now, and they've shown a increase.
161% increase in female cycling.
161% increase in female cyclists when they added a bike lane in downtown on Spring Street.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes, and so my other fun thing is we're doing CycloFem LA, which are different rides going on. There's 160 going on worldwide. They are mountain bike rides, road rides, all kinds of rides. And so these are also ways to recognize the importance of women on bicycles. And so I think it'd be great to hear what you're doing for women, getting them on bicycles, because
well, it might be having something to do with kind of what you guys have got going on, which is Courageous Women of Dirt, which is, gosh, I can't believe it's 1 week from today. We have about 100 women that will be showing up at Irvine Lake next weekend for hands-on experience on changing tires, specifically mountain bike tires, as well as we're going to teach them how to look ahead on their mountain bike. We're going to teach them how to go up and over bike ladders. We're going to teach them even basic things like shifting, anything that you could possibly think of. This would be the place for you to show up and learn how to ride a mountain bike. We've got some amazing pros coming out. I think maybe we know one of those that I might be talking to right now on the phone, Miss Dorothy.
Of course.
So thank you for coming out and supporting us on this big event. This will be the first, of course, one we are doing, but I'm thinking that this may be continued on every single May if possible. So I'm very, very excited to get this thing launched off the ground, and we've got, I think, even a specialized mountain bike that we're going to raffle off, some fabulous, fabulous gifts for the ladies that they can purchase raffle tickets. But the biggest thing for me, Dorothy, is I know where I was in the very beginning when I learned how to ride a mountain bike, and I wish I had as much luck on me in the very beginning. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to drip on these ladies, and we are going to give them the confidence and, of course, the courage, being the courageous women of dirt, that they are going to need in order to get out there on a bike and perhaps change some lives.
And will there be like, if you don't have a mountain bike, will there be bikes out there for folks to use, or?
There is going to be a specialized demo van. I believe at this point most of the bikes are spoken for, but we have made an arrangement to swap out, because there's a morning session and an afternoon session. If you're on the dirt in the morning session with the bike,
then in the afternoon, you'll be over in the grass section where you'll be learning, all the bike fit, bike maintenance things. And Rock and Road will be out there, Rock and Road Cyclery here in Mission Viejo. And so they have arranged to have specialized come out to provide these ladies bikes, because a lot of them did say, hey, I want to start mountain biking, but I just don't have a mountain bike. So we have filled the gap there, but like I said, I don't know that we have very many left, which is a good thing, because we know it's what's needed in the area.
Very cool. And what's so exciting to me is you said this is the first time ever. So it is indicating that there is a rise. And do you see that, Jackie, of more women and girls? Because I also am the race announcer at the SoCal High School Mountain Bike League. And there are now about 300 athletes.
Oh, wow.
And we have 4 different categories for girls to learn about mountain bike racing, but all of that does translate to bicycle riders and bicycle infrastructure.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. I do see a rise in it, Dorothy, and I have been leading the Trail Angels for 12, 13 years now, and my whole purpose in what legacy I want to leave is, of course, to be the one that people say, yeah, how I learned how to ride a mountain bike was with Jackie and her group, the Trail Angels. So that's the Trail Angels and again Rock and Road are putting this on, and actually because we want to mirror what we were so gifted with, which was back up in Big Bear years ago when we participated in what they called Women's Only Weekend, and Ann Hall was the inspiration behind a lot of that, making that happen. The last year that she did it, I believe they had probably 300 participants, all eager and anxious to learn about mountain bikes, and after the whole Snow Summit was closed down, we had to do some changes and rearrangement. So it sort of lost the excitement there. So I said, you know what? We had the benefit of doing that. I want to bring it back. I want to do it here locally, see how it works. And maybe next year we'll even include some of the younger generation, the minors, have the moms bring their daughters. And who knows, maybe double this big event in size.
That's awesome.
No, that is definitely awesome. And where do we find out more information?
You can go on www.rockandroadcyclery.net. Click on the Divas. It may even be right on the front page there when you go on there, being that it's so close to the extra date. But if you go under rockandroadcyclery.net, click on Divas, and then you will see all the information. Proceeds are going to Bikes for Boobs, which is awesome. And it is just going to be a great day. The weather's looking like it's going to be up and beautiful, and I'm just looking forward to a good time.
All right.
Awesome.
Any other thoughts, Alexis? Do you have any questions?
I myself, I've never gotten down to the dirt. So one of these days I'm going to have to, this is this type of event that would be perfect for someone like me that's never done it. And, I've talked with the BikeTalk guys before about this because for some reason I have a lot more fear about mountain biking than I do about roadway cycling.
We'll take care of that.
So, maybe you can just sort of comment on, if you have experience in roadway cycling or just sort of the differences, for women that are maybe used to riding on the road but have never gotten out on the dirt. What are some of the differences, and what are some of the things that make getting out on the dirt so great?
Well, the one thing that is very similar is that you guys are both looking out ahead. There's no question. That is the number one rule of mountain biking as well as road cycling. Big difference is you're probably going to be operating in more of an anaerobic mode because, of course, you're climbing, and then you're going to have to learn how to negotiate over rocks and roots and through sand, which obviously the asphalt does not offer that. Maybe
I don't know. Some of the asphalt in LA definitely does.
But to me, that's the biggest difference is just negotiating and learning how to trust your bike to roll over it. You look at the tires on those mountain bikes, and then you've got this incredible suspension. The technology today is as such to where you can go over these things. You just have to let go of what your mind's telling you, which is, oh my gosh, I can't go over that. I'm just remember the nice thing about mountain biking is that the ground, the dirt is a lot more forgiving than the asphalt.
Yeah. Cool.
But it's an easy transition. I encourage people because you know what? It's just there's peace and tranquility that's back in the mountains and away from all the cars and the smog and all of that. And I would be happy to take you out specifically and show you the ropes because I know you'd never go back.
Yeah, and my executive director, Jennifer Klossner, is really into mountain biking as well. She does a lot of trail riding, and I just I'm really in awe of that. So I'm going to have to get over my fear and come out and try it.
That's my specialty.
Great, Jackie. Well, thanks so much for tuning in with us. And let's just have you give the website one more time so folks can get involved.
Great, and thanks for having me. That website is www.rockandroadcyclery.net, and you can click on Divas, and it'll take you straight there. And I believe we are down to, this morning, about an hour ago, there were 10 spots left, ladies. So I hate to close it out, but we just need to do that for insurance purposes this year, and hopefully next year, like I said, we can double it in size. But nonetheless, I look forward to getting to meet so many of you out there.
Great. Thanks so much, Jackie. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jackie.
You too. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so here's my notes based on that last conversation, which I think is exciting. You know, why mountain bike is exactly the skills that you learn, no matter what you're doing on a bicycle, is something that transcends all of cycling. Like, I was on the LA River bike path, and the tree roots are growing through, and there's some kind of hot pink paint.
Where they've been marked, yeah.
If you're not looking at that, you're going to get bucked up in the air, and then, you know, you're going to have to be able to react. And so those are the same skills that you learn when you ride a mountain bike. And also fitness. You have to go uphill.
I know, it's my least favorite part of cycling. I'm like, what's the flattest route?
And honestly, climbing a mountain, climbing a hill, climbing a road is one of the greatest benefits, fitness-wise, of bicycling. That translates to lots of things. And then just my little plug for cyclocross, which is also, to me, a great sport. If people don't know what cyclocross is, it's basically a circuit race on sort of mixed terrain circuits. So it can be grass, it can be pavement, it can be sand, it can be dirt. And so to me, cyclocross is and honestly, in competitive cycling, if you want to call it that, cyclocross is the largest women's competitive, even higher than mountain biking and road.
And is that just because it's the mix where it sort of brings all of those things sort of together, where you get a little bit of everything?
Yeah, and they're easy to get to. The races are close by. We're going to have, right now we're working to have 2 events at LA Historic Park and also Griffith Park here, coming up September and December. We're going to do those, and then we have a full calendar of events. But I think what happens is it's in grass usually. So as Jackie was saying, if you fall down, you'll usually tip over in grass.
Soft landing.
And you can go as fast as you want to go or as slow as you want to go, because it doesn't matter what place you're in. You're going around in circles for a certain amount of time, and then you're finished.
Okay.
And then you can cheer on. A lot of women get involved as mothers because their husband rides races, and then their kids get into it, and then they want to get some exercise too. So they get the bike and go out there. And it's even a great commuting bike through the streets, because the tires are a little wider.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about the pothole necessarily. The bike is a little lighter. So if you want to get yourselves from point A to point B a little faster, it is built like a road bike. So you have drop bars, and you have 700C wheels. And the gearing is a little bit easier, so you can get started and stopped a little faster. Does that make sense? So anyway, that's my plug. SoCal Cross. We'll be doing women-specific clinics and also preseason events in July and August.
Awesome. And so is your season more than in the falls when you have a lot of events, or?
Yeah, it'll be September through January.
Okay.
Yes. And the World Championships of the sport in its 100-year history will be taking place in the United States of America this year in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's never, ever been in the United States. And the sport's been around for over 100 years.
Oh, wow. And Louisville, Kentucky is surprisingly a nice city.
Yeah.
I'm actually a really big fan.
Yeah. And
they have a nice river.
And cyclocross, my last little plug, is it also takes place usually in parks. which is very inviting
Mm-hmm.
for people to come and watch or to have other fun cycling events go on. So that's my last little plug, is we're going to, build these into all-inclusive festivals of biking, walking, health, fitness, and the environment. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the sort of one of the big realities right now, and one of the reasons why I think cycling is really taking off is because it is the sort of most elegant solution to all of the problems we're facing right now, from the obesity epidemic to the environmental issues, and then also the economic issues. A lot of folks are out of work right now, or underemployed. Gas prices are really high. So, cycling, walking, taking transit, all those things are affordable. They don't pollute the same way. They make you fit.
Yeah, and it also, as you see that you're doing something good for the environment, it really makes you look at the environment and different things you can do. Urban farms are sort of coming around now, and things you wouldn't pay attention to if you were not thinking about helping the environment.
Yeah.
I've noticed that what starts out as being something that like people who didn't have money do, ends up being something that people who are who are affluent or have education and everything, and they end up doing, like brown rice, or like
Or
whole grain bread.
escargot.
Well, I had never thought of that.
Escargot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that was
Yes.
eating snails was definitely not
wasn't a
that was a peasant
highfalutin?
food. That was trying to
So
make
great.
do of your resources, and now it's fine dining.
Exactly. And so it's like bikes are like that, like now people are doing it because it makes sense, and it makes you look good, feel good.
Yeah. Oh, someone's calling in. Thanks for calling Bike Talk. Thanks for calling Bike Talk. Who may I ask is calling?
Yeah, this is Rye with Walk Bike Glendale.
All right. How's the Montrose History Ride going?
It's great. We've got about 50 people out. The weather's awesome. We just went to Rock Haven, which is an old sanitarium / old folks home in Glendale. Really cool building. And now we're down at Crescenta Valley Park. So
Awesome.
having a great time.
So, Rye, what are some of the things that are going on up in the Glendale area? Bike Week is happening next week. I know there's some events planned. And then also, there's there's Bike Plan in the works in Glendale, right?
Yeah, we've actually got a lot of stuff going on right now. Next week is Bike to Work Week, so we're going to have pit stops. I think we're having 6 pit stops in Glendale. You can check out our Facebook or our WordPress blog for those.
And what's the address?
Walkbikeglendale.org.
Great.
That's walkbikeglendale.org. And then also, the city is in the process of passing their bike master plan update to the transportation plan of the city, and that'll be May 29th is the tentative date for the hearing on that. And then also next weekend on the 19th, we're having another bike skills safety rodeo for children at Artie White, and that'll be from 10 to 2. We'll be starting every 2 hours or so with new groups of kids.
And that's at R.D. White Elementary School?
That's right, R.D. White Elementary School. And the last big project that we've got going on is a possible road diet on Honolulu Avenue. This is a street up in North Glendale. It's got very low traffic volumes. There's been kind of a history of crashes on that street, with about 15% of the crashes are bicycle crashes. So this will be hopefully an excellent project to reduce those bike crashes up there. And if you're interested in getting involved or writing a letter of support to the City Council, we really encourage you to do that.
Great, thanks. And you guys are also doing a Bike to Work our Bike to Work Day after party, correct?
Yeah. That's right. Let me hand it over to Eric. He can talk more about the Bike to Work Day after party.
Cool.
Hey guys, this is Eric.
Hey Eric, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Maybe you can highlight, I just asked Rye about the Bike to Work Day after party that you all are going to be having in Glendale.
We're going to have a happy hour from Bikes from Work on Bike to Work Day. And that's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. at Tavern on Brand. And that's located I don't have the address with me right now, but it's located in between California and Wilson on Brand Boulevard next to the Alex Theater.
Great. So if folks want to come out and meet some of the Walk Bike Glendale folks, that'll be a fun way to do it and learn a little bit more about what's going on.
Absolutely. And we have all the info. We're going to post up all the info probably later today or tomorrow on our website on walkbikeglendale.org. And we're going to talk about it on our Facebook throughout this week, trying to get people out there as well. And one last thing, if anybody wants a commuter bike before Walk to Work Day, or Bike to Work Day, I'm sorry, our Montrose Bike Shop up in North Glendale is having a commuter bike sale going on only today. So they have like $50 to $70 off on commuter bikes. So it's a great deal, and it's a great way to get a bike before Bike to Work Day if you don't have one already.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Can you describe commuter bikes?
Oh, yeah. So maybe, while we've got you on the line, Eric, you could talk a little bit about sort of what a commuter bike is, if you feel comfortable doing that.
Sure. Well, commuter bike is usually geared for people who might be able to wear clothes like longer pants, might have a guard where the chain is. It usually has fenders, stuff to make it a little bit more comfortable when you ride. You can sit upright instead of going down all the way like a normal road bike has. So it usually has a rack in the back or the front, like the front basket, so you can carry your supplies as you go to work or go grocery shopping. So it's geared for the people who are going to work or just going on the daily run and making errands around the city. It's making it as comfortable as possible for those types of people.
Great. Well, thanks, Eric, so much for giving us a little update on that. And just one more time, where is the shop, or what is the shop, and where is it located?
It's Montrose Bike Shop, and it's located on Honolulu Avenue in Montrose. You can check out the address is on montrosebikeshop.com, and they have the listing of all their bikes that they have available as well.
Great. Thanks so much, Eric. Have fun with the rest of the Montrose History Ride, and we'll make sure folks check out walkbikeglendale.org.
Great. Thanks so much.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. See you later.
All right. We just missed JJ calling to give us an update on how the River Ride Marshall Ride is going. So can I call her on that line?
Sure. And
You want me to do it?
So we're calling right now.
And while we're here, this is Kill Radio and KPFK on the podcast. It's Bike Talk, and you were talking earlier about Altadena not having a bike pass and stuff. I think that goes back to early experiments by Caltech when it developed a black hole and just sucked in all the streets there. So that's why when you get to Altadena, they're not marked and stuff. But let's be honest, it's all kind of tree-lined kind of streets up there in some cases, and some of the places where Altadena
going really
is
fast up
yeah,
there.
oh, absolutely.
Because Altadena is all up or down for the most part.
Right.
And amazingly enough, Altadena Altadena Drive, I believe, was actually a highway because Altadena was, built up in the early 1900s, late 1800s.
Yes.
And so there's only a couple of throughway streets, so you either have to do a lot of stair-step laddering, so you need to know
exactly
where you're going, or you're on the trafficy streets.
It's almost like you have to rediscover. We were talking about rediscover how the city is, and we have on the phone now.
We have JJ Hoffman, LACBC's River Ride director. So JJ, how's things out on the road today?
Oh, great. We're actually just about to get started. We're right now we're putting together our Marshall team. These are the riders that are going to be riding alongside all of our participants, keeping everybody safe and getting through any kind of trouble spots without any incidents. So we're kind of doing a little dry run of the river ride, and we're just kind of getting it together, talking about all the hot spots, and it's going to be fun.
And I gave a little pitch about River Ride earlier, but we're still looking for volunteers, right? We still need folks to come out and help?
Oh, yeah.
We need lots of volunteers. It's, I think, 200 volunteer positions open. So anyone that wanted to volunteer, contact Martine at la-bikes.org.
Awesome.
And Martine is spelled Martin.
And so I gave the pitch. Folks should register before May 15th to get a discount. But maybe you can talk about some of the great things going on this year, like the fact that folks can start in Long Beach. Will there be stuff going on in Long Beach where the start is?
Yes, there will. We've got a great new sponsor, Turn Bicycles, and they want to make Long Beach really hot and happening. Pit stop plus start finish line for our reverse riders. This is new this year. We're going to have we're going to open up the ride so that those who live in the Long Beach area or Orange County, if they prefer, they can start from Shoreline Park and ride 70 miles. They're going to ride up to the Autry Center and turn around and then finish at Long Beach at Shoreline Park. And there's going to be music there and great food. It's going to be really fun.
Great. So we'll have two event centers, one in Griffith Park and one down in Shoreline Park.
Yeah. So even the pit stops, I mean, even those who start at the Autry and go down to Shoreline Park and their turnaround spot, it's their pit stop, they're going to have a lot of fun there too, because it's just going to be just much more lively than it's ever been. And it's exciting. We're also going to give away some bicycles to some kids. Free specialized hot rocks. Some lucky kids are going to get bicycles. That some of them will be up here in Glendale residents, and some of them will be Long Beach residents. So it's really fun to see a kid get a brand new bike, and not just any bike, top of the line, specialized hot rock. They make the best kids bikes, I swear. They really do.
It looks like Dorothy may have a question, so let me pass the phone over to her really quick.
No, I was just curious because, hi, JJ, how are you?
Hi, good, how are you?
Good. Since I always do the longer rides, I never really get to see what happens with the family rides and the kids' events. So what are some of those events?
Oh, the kids who will be participating, there's in the Kids Ride and Safety Rodeo, there's going to be two of those. One of them is in Long Beach, and of course it's free for all kids. And one's in the Autry. What we do is we set up a little safety rodeo, and kids can practice their skills. Like we've got cones for them to weave in and out of, and to practice stopping and going up little inclines. And additionally, they can do fun things like bike wash and decorate your helmet. Just have some other fun activities for the kids.
Nice. And then the family ride, that's the 15-mile ride. And that just stays on the path, right? And
it does, yes. You get on the river path right by the Autry, the Zoo Drive entrance, and then you're on river path the entire time, and then we'll turn you, your pit stop will be in Elysian Valley at one of those lovely little pocket parks right alongside the river. And then you'll turn around and come back to the Autry and feel fantastic. You've spent a lovely day with your family, or even if you're not doing it with your family, you can, anyone that wants to do just 15 miles, lazy 15 miles on the beautiful Los Angeles River, take a look at all the silly birds that live there, and enjoy the smell of the river. It really is fantastic, especially on that day.
And that is one of the best parts of the river too, because it's the soft bottom, so there's a lot of trees and wildlife, and sometimes you can see, I've seen turtles and frogs, and if you get off your bike and hop down below, you can see a lot of wildlife.
And there's been just really wonderful work done along that part of the path too. In Elysian Valley, there's all these little pocket parks that have sprung up in the last few years, and you can really take a look at them. And that part of the river path from Fletcher down to Figueroa, that is all right next to homes. So people live right alongside there, and you'll see the residents, how much they enjoy living by the river. It's kind of funny. I talk to people a lot who say, what, LA River? LA has a river?
But there it is, right alongside of the 5. It's probably why you don't really notice it, but it's this wonderful, peaceful, tranquil oasis right in the middle of this bustling metropolis called Los Angeles.
Yeah. And we always want to remind folks with the Elysian Valley section between Fletcher and Figueroa, since it is a residential community and they do like to get out there and walk and go down to the river, to, be aware that there's a lot of pedestrians on the path in that section, and take it slow. Take it slow through there.
The river path, at all parts of the river path, it is designated as a multi-use path, which means that cyclists do need to yield to pedestrians. And no matter where you are on the path, but more importantly, right in that area, because yes, there are people that live right alongside it. There are other parts of the river path that don't have a lot of residents that are living right next to it, but that part, they live right there and they use that path. They walk their dogs there. They come out with their kids. There's a lot of elderly people that live there. So when you get to that part of the path, even though it's nice and smooth and paved now, slow down. Be really mindful of the residents who live there and the pedestrians who might be there, because there have been some collisions, and sadly, unfortunately, there have been some really rude behavior by cyclists who think that the path is for them exclusively. It's not.
So just like we need to share the road, we need cars to share the road, we also need to make sure we share the path with pedestrians.
Yeah, share the path.
Awesome. Well, JJ, thanks for checking in. Why don't I have you shout out on where folks can go to register for River Ride real quick?
Yeah, go to our website, www.la-bike.org, and click on events. You'll see the beautiful River Ride logo, the great heron on the bicycle. Just click on that, and there's all the information of which ride you want to attend, and there'll be plenty of opportunity. You can either download the PDF and fill that out, fax it back, or mail it back, or you can just click the button and it'll take you right to active.com where you can register that way.
And you and I are going to be in Pasadena tomorrow afternoon, right? Folks can come and register while we're at the Patagonia store in Old Town, Pasadena.
Yeah, come on out to the Patagonia store tomorrow. You can sign up there and talk to me and talk to Alexis and enjoy whatever Patagonia has to offer. They're sponsoring us during Bike to Work Week. They want to make sure everybody gets on their bikes. Next week.
Yeah. And as Dorothy mentioned earlier, a lot of great events happening in Pasadena next week with Cycle as well. So, JJ, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Alexis.
And have a great time out there today.
Thanks. Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
So again, the River Ride is what day?
June 10th, Sunday, June 10th. Sunday. So we've got about 3 minutes left to
you want to recap a couple of things for
Bike
Week?
Week? Recap.
So the first thing is the kickoff, 10 a.m. Exposition Park. That's Monday. And that's also, I guess, the last time Exposition Park, the USC band came out. So maybe if we're lucky, they won't come out this time. It's too early for them.
Oh, I love bands. Bands are great. What's not known about a band?
But then you're back there, I guess, on Wednesday again for a expanded Expo Mid-City morning ride. That's 8 a.m. on Wednesday. And you're saying, well, what do I do on Tuesday? Tuesday, go over to Blessing of the Bikes over at Good Samaritan. Then it's 8 a.m. Get breakfast, get swag, get bent, and then go over afterwards and visit all the people at Bisa Libre, right there at 6th and Lucas. On Thursday, Bike to Work Week. It needs no thing. You can ride for free on any metro, any bus. And somebody was saying you don't have to take your bike all the time. You can just show up with a helmet and that gets you on too. Then Friday, if you really want to see how the other half lives, I'm thinking I'm going to dress up as Mitt Romney bully mode and go to Metro Bike to School Week and see how many kids I can cut their hair that day. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so just because we did LA, we're going to do the same thing with Bike Week Cycle, which is in Pasadena. Monday the 14th from 6 to 8, they're having some sort of ride at Memorial Park, right?
Go
Sounds
ahead.
good.
Yeah, Dorothy, that's not the mayor's ride, which comes up, I think,
Wednesday is the mayor's ride.
Wednesday's the mayor's ride.
Tuesday is the women's ride.
Tuesday is the women's
I'll
ride.
Be there.
So don't show up. But
Clinic.
these are all in.
What?
One was at the Promenade. I'm just kidding. If you're a guy, don't show up to the women's ride. I mean, they'll only let you go.
We always let you
but
come.
it's it's like being on one of those ovarian cyclist rides. You'll realize, hey, why am I the only guy here? And then you go,
You're the smart guy.
it's a woman's ride. No. But I think it all ties in with the idea of empowering people, not just women.
Yeah.
While on the way here, I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about they've just rededicated a whole section of the National Cathedral with some stone. Now there's right above there. Rosa Parks. She's been immortalized in stone, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
And then on the other side, I guess later on in the year they're going to bring out Mother Teresa.
Oh, wow.
So I'd like to think it's like Disneyland and the stones come to life, like the.
There you go.
And give those kids a full thing. But anyway, another reason to be riding next week, and of course. Friday we talk about all the stuff that's going on. There's also a bike and movie on Friday. They're going to show Pee-wee's Playhouse out at Pasadena at the Fair Oaks complex. So what is that, 175 South Fair Oaks? I never can find this, and then somebody says, it's just the mall in front of the movie theater. So there you go. And then the Big Bash, Saturday. If you're not teaching kids at the skills for kids out there, you're going to be at East Colorado Boulevard right there from 6 to 11 for the big pedal party.
Yeah.
So that's a week from today.
Awesome. And don't forget Santa Monica and Glendale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's events going on all around the county.
I just touched the two that were...
check in with metro.net, check in at LA-Bike, check in at cycle.org, and you can learn about all the events going on around LA County next week. And thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in.
All right, we beat the snake. I want to thank Alexis and Dorothy for coming in, and, of course, Nick here.
LACBC.
All right.
Bye.